Welcome to the final in our series, An Introduction to Carl Gustav Jung. This episode is called Healing and Individuation in Practical Theology. Carved above the door into Jung's tower at Bollingen is the saying, "Bidden or not bidden, God is present." It sums up his life and work. But he also had another favourite saying. I can't recall where I learnt this in my own studies on Jung, but it is a marvellous saying, marvellous insight. The saying was, hic rhodos, hic salta. That's Latin for, here is Rhodes, jump here. What does it mean? It comes from Aesop's fables. It's the story of the man who boasts, the braggart. Now one day he was boasting to a crowd. It was all about a great jump he had to make, or a great jump that he did make rather, in the games at Rhodes. He could prove it, he said. He had witnesses. No need for witnesses, cried out a voice from the crowd. Hic rhodos, hic salta. Here's Rhodes. Jump here. It's a fact that many people in churches look for some kind of healing. Some need relief from pretense. Others might have to confront a physical illness for which no cure or relief can be found. A few come wanting a sound preparation for the art of dying. But many come saying they simply want to find joy and fulfillment. They desire relief from loneliness and to find friends. They want a purpose. In all these cases, they do have to jump. They have to take a leap of faith. They're not like the braggart who's caught out, but couldn't and wouldn't make a great jump at all. Sooner or later, an action is necessary for most of us. It's an action within the psyche. Individuation is the conscious desire to bring the self of the psyche to the fore. We have to allow the unconscious archetypes to balance up the imbalances in our living. And in a sense, to begin the process, which is often painful, it's like having to take a quantum leap. Without warning, as it were, the electron moves up or down to a new orbit. And this imparts new creative energies. Now, let me paraphrase Jung on this. He makes the point that modern society has no schools for 44-year-olds. But in the past, the churches and the various religions were the schools for the middle-aged and the elderly. I think that's most illuminating. Our churches have become obsessed with the idea we must cultivate the young or we'll die out. I would say just the opposite. We need to cultivate and school the middle-aged and the elderly. Without them, we will surely die, because they will die without recourse to the great truths of life. Quote, how many of us older persons have really been brought up in such a school and prepared for the second half of life, for old age, death, and eternity? Unquote. Modern man in search of a soul. The afternoon and the evening of a life is not an add-on. Again, paraphrasing Jung, it's a preparation. The beginning of life, its morning phase, is where we establish ourselves, says Jung. In the morning light, we must acquire life and all the necessary life skills. Learn to drive, ski, or whatever. Earn money. Look towards finding a partner. Have children or not, as the case may be. There'll be many mistakes along the way, but the individual is establishing his or herself into an external. Something quite different starts making our souls, starts shaping our psyche after this. What Jung called the collective unconscious begins to assert itself. What was hidden deep within, on occasions, signals something to us in our conscious outer world. Now let me put that into personal terms. First person pronoun. It is as if I glimpse something that is not I, not the ego, feel something which is different from me, but it remains the ego, the I, which is experiencing it. Jung gives an example. He says it's the surfacing of an entire cultural memory. And Jung intended the word culture here to be understood as the arts, the humanities, the sciences, the crafts, in all their infinitely varied forms. And when we glimpse this, it's as if we're seeing the creative act of the collective unconscious becoming conscious in the individual. You can't get it until you've acquired life skills along the way. So it's not the individual artist or poet or thinker who's at work. It's human existence itself which is at work within us. It's the culture of the human race which is coming briefly into play in the external world of an individual in the second half of life. The ancient Greeks believed that a person could achieve greatness in life. The individual had a duty to exemplify values and aspirations of the culture itself. Jung went beyond this. He felt that inexorably the living spirit, quote, grows and outgrows earlier forms of expression. The irresistible force of the collective unconscious moves us forward. We're only leaves and flowers on the stem of the eternal tree, but each leaf and flower has a function and a purpose. We begin to be healed when we begin to fulfill our purpose. We take the leap of faith, usually in the second half of life, because it is an opportunity to begin this process of individuation. Hic rhodos, hic salta. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed these videos, you can watch more by subscribing to the Practical Theology Channel for better daily living.